The emergence of kings is the result of long social processes that developed over many millennia. Around 10,000 years before Christ, during the late Paleolithic period and the beginning of the Neolithic period, human beings lived in small clans and tribes in which there were no kings. Leadership was exercised by elders, experienced hunters, or spiritual figures such as shamans. Authority was based on personal reputation, life experience, and persuasive ability, and it was neither permanent nor hereditary. With the development of agriculture and permanent settlement, social structures changed fundamentally. People began to cultivate land, store food, and protect surplus resources. This led to the accumulation of property and wealth. Those who controlled land, water, or food supplies gained lasting power and influence over others. From around 5,000 years before Christ, in the early civilizations of Mesopotamia and Egypt, warfare and military conflict became more frequent. Communities required organized protection, and the most capable warriors assumed leadership roles. Over time, these military leaders developed into rulers who often held power for life. In order to secure and legitimize their authority, rulers closely connected their power to religion. Kings were presented as chosen by the gods or as divine themselves, as was the case with the pharaohs of ancient Egypt. Criticism of the ruler was therefore considered sacrilege, making the position of the king nearly unquestionable. By the Bronze Age, around 3,000 years before Christ, hereditary succession increasingly became the norm. Power was transferred from father to son, and ruling dynasties emerged. Kingship became a stable institution with concrete functions, including the administration of justice, the collection of taxes, the organization of the military, and the management of infrastructure. However, not all societies developed kings. Many indigenous communities, hunter-gatherer societies, and early city-states organized power through councils, shared decision-making, or temporary leadership. In societies where property accumulation and social inequality were limited, kingship remained unnecessary. As power became more concentrated, the danger of tyranny increased. Kings could rule without restraint, interpret laws according to their own interests, suppress criticism, and govern through fear and violence. From a psychological perspective, absolute power often led to a loss of reality, reduced empathy, and feelings of grandiosity, which further encouraged tyrannical behavior. In response, societies began to impose limits on royal authority during the Middle Ages and the early modern period. Legal frameworks, constitutions, and representative assemblies emerged to restrict the power of rulers. Important milestones included the Magna Carta in the year 1215 after Christ, the intellectual movement of the Enlightenment during the 17th and 18th centuries after Christ, and major political revolutions, such as the French Revolution in the year 1789 after Christ. Eventually, most kings either became symbolic figures within constitutional monarchies or were abolished entirely. The history of kingship reveals a recurring pattern. Power arises from the need for order, the control of resources, and military strength. It is legitimized through religion or tradition. It can become uncontrolled, and it must ultimately be limited by society. Even in the present day, kings have largely disappeared, but power itself remains, now taking the form of presidents, corporate leaders, political parties, or algorithms. The central question remains unchanged. Who controls power, and in whose interest is it exercised?